You mean hope to go to France in the next few days, or just in life in general?
Like in the next few days with
Ah,
this
yeah,
game.
yeah. No, I'm very excited to go back to France. Obviously, I miss my second country very much, but yeah, obviously Paris is very different than the cities I've been used to living in. But it's always a good time, especially playing at the Parc des Princes. I think it's one of the best pelouse pitches in the world, truth be told. So yeah, it's going to be a spectacular game to play, to be in, and yeah, very excited to just breathe in the French air again. We've had a few arguments with Germans here the last few months about which country has the best bakeries. So hopefully I can represent France well these next few days and show them that France does have better bread.
And yeah, if your former teammates from Lyon will come, or are they play on Wednesday and they're gonna be free?
No, yeah, they play in Juventus on Wednesday, so I'm assuming Thursday they're going to be recovering quite a lot. Also for the games this weekend, and then we all go to national team. So there's not much time to see each other, unfortunately. Even when we do have a day or two off, the focus is always on recovery. So no, I would be very shocked to see anyone there. But I am excited to see former teammates at Paris, like Grige and Buck. So yeah, it'll be a fun game, and it'll be fun to see some familiar faces.
With Lyon, you're quite used to beat PSG. Did you talk about it with your coach or your teammates? And how do you judge this team of PSG?
Yeah, I think I'm very familiar playing PSG. Obviously, I think this year is a different team, though. I think they've had different coaches, or they've had many different coaches these past 4 or 5 years. So their tactics, their technicality changes, a lot of rotation as well in players from even last year when we played them with Leon. So I think the core of PSG remains the same defensively in terms of, they're a very man marking oriented team. They're very good on the counter as well, very physical, whether that's in the midfield or up front. So yeah, there's not much I can say that's new that the players don't already know, having having played France just this past national team window, as well as I think they played PSG last year or 2 years ago. I think the women's football world is so small that everybody watches everybody, everybody knows everybody. So even though I've played them many times, I know that the whole team knows these players, knows this team as well. So no, I do my part to give them individual habits from players that I've picked up on over the years. But yeah, they already know what they need to know.
And with Bayern Munich, you're on really good streak now in Champions League with this game against Arsenal. We will say remontada.
Right.
Um, do you feel like the confidence is really important for the team now? And do you also feel that losing so much against Barca on the first match day in Champions League quite like served the team? Like you yeah, use that to get better.
No, I don't think losing ever really helps in that way. I think obviously it's an experience. Hopefully, it will help us for the future, but no, I can't say it was a good thing for us,
Yeah.
especially when you look at this new league format and every goal counts. So we know that that was, that really hurt us. I think that's something that we bring forward in terms of knowing every single match and every single point really does count moving forward because of that goal difference, especially Arsenal in the second half. When we were able to turn it up, I think like your question and that you mentioned about confidence. I think going from a game like Barcelona to a game like Arsenal, beating the Champions League winners, I think for us that was important in terms of feeling like we belong, feeling like we're contenders, we're here to win, but we can also win. I think that's something that we're working on a lot in terms of when you step on a pitch, knowing that you belong and knowing that you can beat any team is something that we're growing on. We're a team, we're a young team, so confidence and experience is something that needs to be learned, and needs to be experienced in big games like Arsenal. So yeah, I think the most important game for us right now in Champions League was that Arsenal game. Was the flip around from 2-0 to 3-2. Scoring 3 goals against Arsenal isn't easy. So being able to come away with a win like that, come away with 6 points in these last 3 games is huge. I know that Paris have 0 points right now, if I'm not mistaken. So this game is going to be super important for them as well. They're a very physical team, like I said. So are we, which is why it's going to be such a fun game to be in, and such an important game for both teams. It's do or die for both of us right now in terms of those 3 points. So it's going to be about who wants it more at the end of the day.
Okay, thanks a lot. Merci beaucoup. And that's it for me.
Ouais.
So much. Let's go to Suzanne next, please. Not here, maybe. Let's go to Adriana next then, and we'll maybe come back.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Hi, Vanessa. Was good to see you back on the pitch on Sunday against Ingolstadt. You celebrated your comeback after injury. So how did it feel for you to be back on the pitch, and how many minutes or how much percentage do you see yourself at the moment?
Yeah, it was really fun. I think whenever you're injured, whether it be a short injury or a longer injury, mentally it's so hard. I think when your whole identity is based on football and you're so used to, being involved every day with the team, being injured is really hard. So being back, it's nice. Being back in the flow, seeing my teammates more since we're on the same schedule once again. Being able to experience the wins together is super fun. Yeah, how much do I see? I think 100%, or I wouldn't be back on the pitch. I think that's something this team also and the staff over here is pretty adamant on. If you're not 100%, then you don't play and you don't train, because the player always comes first. So yeah, I think 100%. Obviously, when you come back from injury, there's always an adaptation period, both cognitive and physical. So I've been back for 1 week, step by step, day by day, feeling better and better and feeling more like myself. So no, physically 100%, and here to help the team and get back to my level.
And could you use the time during the injury and recovery to maybe do other things, explore Munich a little bit more than before?
Honestly, when you're injured, I think you're even more busy because all you think about is your injury. So no, you're at the club for hours doing treatment, doing recovery, doing fitness, blah, blah, blah. And then having to go to games, watch the games. So no, I didn't have much time. I think I had 2 days at the very beginning of my injury where I got to visit a friend in Roma. But that's about it. No, still haven't discovered Munich too much, but I have 3 years, so we will see.
Full time, yes. And when looking back on Bayern and the development they have taken throughout the season so far, especially in the last few games, I think since the international break there were only wins, including the game against Arsenal, of course. So how have you been following that or experiencing that development in the team?
Can you repeat the question?
So just about the development in the team, how it's going, and what has changed in comparison to the beginning of the season, maybe.
Yeah, I think not much has changed in terms of our level. I think when you look at the globality of our season so far, we've only had 1 loss, albeit a very big loss, and 1 tie. So I think we haven't changed specifically one thing in particular. I think a lot of it is just the fact that we're really in the flow of season now. Connections have been formed, habits have been formed. People are peaking in terms of fitness, in terms of cognitive habits on the pitch. I think obviously about P. I think about Clara. When like you have your key players peaking and feeling confident and taking people on, taking risks, being able to play more freely, obviously then the whole team follows suit. Defensively as well, I think we've been very, very solid. I think Mala has stepped up when Enna was injured, which is not easy when you don't have, the playing time that you would like, especially for a goalkeeper. But I think she has done a fantastic job as well, leading from the back and keeping us solid and organized. But yeah, I wouldn't say anything has changed per se. I just think we're now in November. It's not like the early few weeks where things are still being put into place. And the wins, especially against Arsenal and Wolfsburg as well, really helped our confidence and helped maybe certain players, feel themselves a bit more freely and be able to play a bit more freely, which has helped the whole team.
Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you. Let's go to Catherine next, please.
Hi, really nice to meet you. Yeah, I was just going to ask, Bayern are known as such like a together team. That togetherness, I from the outside looks like it could only be really, really helpful. And how helpful has that been, especially going from, such a loss to such a great performance against Arsenal and such a great turnaround? Kind of how, oh, sorry, I have a visitor. My cat is, oh my gosh, sorry. Yeah, how important was that togetherness? And here's the cat, she can join in. Sorry, very professional.
How important is the togetherness? Yeah, I think it's huge. I think that definitely sets this team apart. Obviously, you guys see what's on the pitch, what's in training, what's on social media, etc. But the behind the scenes for me is what's even more important. Like I said, especially being injured, having a different schedule than the team, not just myself. Obviously, we were a few injured players, but I think this team does a lot off the pitch that we don't see, which contributes to the success on the pitch, and also contributes to the fact that people want to stay here, people want to be with this team, and people enjoy being around each other. I think that's huge. I think I've never been on a team that has actually hung out really off the pitch that much and enjoyed it. The other day we had a team trivia night that we organized amongst each other, and the whole team pretty much showed up, which for me, being new, obviously, and coming from previous teams was a bit strange, but really in a very positive way. That everybody showed up, everybody contributed, everybody was super positive and having fun, which was, I think the DNA of this team and the backbone of this team. And I think that also goes to show the culture among the team and among the players, and the culture that's been set here. I don't think that's an easy thing to do. That's something that doesn't just happen overnight. It's something that the previous players, current players, and the former players work on and are going to have to work on to keep it going. And as a current new player, I can only appreciate it and enjoy it. It's really cool.
Thanks. And I was also wondering, kind of, I have time for a quick question, what your hopes are for this kind of Champions League phase. What do you hope to get out of it, either personally or obviously as a club?
Yeah, I think obviously as a club, it's finishing as high up as we can. We know that every point wins, like I said, especially with the goal difference. So I don't think we had the easiest of draws, if I saw that coefficiency thing right between us and Wolfsburg. So yeah, we've definitely felt it, but that's also the excitement of Champions League, is having these really exciting games, getting to play these really world-class players, world-class clubs, in really cool stadiums. I think that getting to play at the Allianz is really cool. Getting to play at the Parc des Princes is going to be really cool, and so forth. So yeah, what do we hope to get as a team? Most amount of points possible to progress, obviously, and also just to enjoy. I think personally and as a club, we all look forward to Champions League, obviously because it's incredible games, but it's also what you dream of as a footballer. It's what you enjoy the most, is being in these challenging situations, having these do or die moments that you don't maybe necessarily get in league play, especially for me in France, for example, in the league with playoffs. It's not a stressful, that feeling of, ooh, we need to win kind of feeling, as a competitor. So yeah, personally, collectively, to win, obviously, and to enjoy, because it's privilege to be able to play at this level for any players.
Amazing. Thank you.
Perfect. And then we'll just go to Drew quickly, please.
Hello, yeah, just two questions from me. Thanks for your time, Vanessa. You're somewhat of a serial winner throughout your career, the Olympic Games, your time at Lyon, even when you were at Apollon, you picked up silverware. Do you think kind of trying to build a winning culture and your history with winning is one of the reasons Bayern brought you in?
Yeah, I think a big reason was for my leadership, for my experience. So I guess those go hand in hand. I would hope also for my quality on the pitch. But I think a main reason as well was my personality. I think I'm someone that adapts easily. I think I'm someone that's very positive, hardworking, and I think that clicks very well with the DNA of this team. I think the culture that has been set here is nobody is above the team. There's no one star. I think that's very German. If we're going to win, we're going to win collectively. I think that's very much Canadian culture as well. So it's been really fun to be a part of. And it's been really easy to adapt to and click right away, which is why it was so easy, I think, for the recruits, whether that be Stina, me, Natalia, to come in and fit in right away, which is not easy. Usually there's like a 6-month, 1-year adaptation. But yeah, I would say if you aren't a serial winner or a competitor, I don't think you make it at this level. And I think that goes for anybody playing Champions League or anybody playing, or competing for trophies. I think if you don't have that hunger, then you won't make it very far.
Yeah, absolutely. You play definitely like you're at home as well. It must feel slightly like unfinished business for you in the Champions League, given the final in 24. What, on a personal level, how much does it mean to you to give these strong performances and and fight to compete and get to the final maybe again?
Yeah, I think the beauty of football is you don't have to have the biggest contract. You don't have to be, the most skillful player. You don't have to have, the most stacked team to win a trophy. You need to peak at the right moment. You need to have the right culture. You need to have the right leadership in place. Um, you need to play together. You need to be a team to win Champions League. I think that's the beauty of winning trophies, and that's what makes it even more, like satisfying when you do lift it. I think we have a lot of ingredients here. Obviously, we need to improve as well in certain areas, but I think the goal at this club and the next step that we want to take is to compete on the European stage. I think that's something that attracted me to this team as well. I think we have the skill for it. And now it's up to us to work our way up and to peak at the right moment and really to believe. I think that's something that, like I said, the game against Arsenal was super important for us to show that we can compete with the best. Arsenal won Champions League last year. They peaked at the right moment. They beat Barcelona. They beat us at Lyon. They played like a team and they played like they knew they were going to win. And for us, that's super important at Bayern, having never won the Champions League, having never been in a final, I think, as well. I could be mistaken in that, but that's something that we need to grow on and to step on a pitch like we own the pitch. That's something I always try to push on the German players, especially, with the skill and the level that they have, like to know that they're at that level and to know that they can win and they should walk the walk, and talk the talk as well. Yeah, I think I answered more than that question. I got a bit carried away, but